Catastrophizing over time leads to depression and anxiety. We don't want these, right? Everyone together. No, we don't. That is why I'm going to share with you what catastrophizing looks like and how you're going to teach your brain to stop doing it. If I fail this test, I'll never get into college and my whole life will be ruined. What if the sickness that I have is actually something more, like cancer? If my partner leaves me, I'll be alone forever. I'll never have kids of my own. I heard a story of an 18-wheeler that crashed on the highway. What if next time it's me that's driving by them and they crash? Does this sound familiar? It's pretty common and normal to catastrophize. In fact, our brain is almost wired to do so. It's protecting us from possibilities and dangers. The problem comes when it starts interfering in our life and we start making changes so that the catastrophes don't happen. You can think of catastrophizing as a way to magnify a situation, making something much worse than it actually is, making it sound important. Something you must pay attention to. You have to think through it. Here are some common reasons individuals get stuck catastrophizing. Well, uncertainty. Simply put, when something is vague, we tend to fill in the missing pieces. For instance, imagine your boss saying, "Hey, can you come by my office later today? We need to have a chat." Pause. Think about it for a second. Did you automatically think something bad was going to happen? Was it going to be a positive thing or a negative thing? I bet it was a negative feeling. This is because we obviously don't want that negative thing to happen. So the body starts preparing for it. We enjoy certainty. It's tough for our brain to accept that maybe this conversation could be positive. I mean, your boss is calling you into their office. How could it be positive? Anxiety and fear tend to attach to our whole value system. Things we care about. I'm catastrophizing about losing my job because if I did, it affects my whole family. Where am I going to live? What am I going to eat? What about my way of life? I'm not really focused on my lawn and if my grass is going to die because of all the infested ants. Possibly that could happen. Oh no, it's going to ruin my lawn because I don't care. It's not part of my value system, but it's definitely a possibility. So why don't we catastrophize about some of those things? Past negative experiences can make us catastrophize even more. The brain is so good at remembering those bad moments in our life because it wants us to learn from them and prepares us for the future. Last time it rained, I got sick and I had to miss work for a week. I didn't get paid for it and it really hurt me financially. So guess what happens the next time it's gonna rain? The brain says, "Hey, remember me? It's possible you'll get sick again." And do you know what follows that? You could get sick. It could happen. Remember last time? There is a difference between catastrophizing and anxiety. The main difference is that anxiety actually is useful. It's supposed to warn us when we are in immediate danger. That's the key word though, immediate danger. We have to see it. We cannot think something is happening. That's catastrophizing. When we are guessing the future, the things that could happen. Sure, we're accepting that they could, but it typically has no benefits to think through it. When someone spends their day catastrophizing all the things that could happen, it starts bringing hopelessness, sadness, depression. It seems harmless, but over time, the brain is foreseeing negative experiences, not positive. Why aren't we ever saying, "I'm gonna go talk to my boss and he is gonna give me a raise. With this raise, I'm going on a vacation. I'm so excited." We don't do this because we don't need a problem to solve like that. We only need to problem solve the negative things. We don't worry about the positive. So how do you know when it's time to take care of your catastrophic thinking? Well, anytime you're having it, even if it's not currently affecting your life just yet. We must retrain the brain to think differently. And this is how we're going to do it. Challenge, challenge, challenge. We don't put all of our eggs in one basket. We can't accept that the catastrophe could happen, but we also need to give ourselves alternatives. For instance, I could come up with multiple other scenarios. When I go into my boss's office, he could give me a raise. He could tell me how I'm doing such a great job. He could tell me I'm doing something wrong. He could tell me to take the day off. Maybe he's promoting me. Now, taking these alternative stories or solutions, which one seems likely? Or another way I like to think about it is standing in front of Judge Judy and actually giving evidence. First, I'll start with my original catastrophizing thought. I'm catastrophizing about losing my job because if I did, it affects my family. Judge, let me give you some evidence that backs it up that this is going to happen. Most of the time, we're just gonna have a difficult time coming up with something, some good evidence. And even if we did, we still cannot prove a thing because we don't have a time machine. We don't know what's gonna happen. So if I went to the judge and I said, okay, I showed up 10 minutes late for work 3 times a week, that still doesn't prove anything. It's an idea, but it's not a fact. The judge doesn't give sentences off of ideas. They give sentences off facts. I guess facts doesn't need to have a quotation. I would need some good evidence that said if you are 10 minutes late more than 3 times, you will be terminated. My boss told me, it's in writing, it's on my desk, I know about it. It's written right there. Yes, now that is evidence. But alas, without this, we're just grasping at straws. Instead, let's now share with the judge some reasons why getting fired is actually not likely. My boss has never said that being late determines if we get fired or not. I've worked at this job for 8 years and I'm often late. It hasn't been a problem so far. I did not hear my boss specifically tell me you need to come into the office and talk to me about being late. This is also where we can add alternative possibilities. So, judge, what is your final conclusion? What do you think she's gonna say? Evidence suggests that your catastrophic thinking is correct, sir. No, she's not gonna say that. So if the judge isn't buying it, why are we?
I don't believe you.
We're having thoughts, we're feeling emotions about something that's not even correct. So we spend time challenging our thoughts, writing them down. Pretend you're in a courtroom. And again, you can accept all possibilities, tolerate the uncertainty, but you're not putting all of your emotions towards one idea. Call yourself out. Yep, I'm catastrophizing right now. I am willing to take the risk that I could be wrong, I could be right. I'm taking my mental health seriously and offering up some other solutions today. Positive affirmations are great as well. Notice the good in the world. Literally, take time to notice. You can set an alarm on your phone, on your watch, to remind you to take a moment every single day. Practice self-care. Get enough sleep, drink water, avoid the things in your life that don't bring you joy. So here's the takeaway. Catastrophic thinking does harm over time. Take it seriously. Make it a point to challenge every single day. It's worth it. You can remove this unwanted anxiety and depression. For those parents who have children with very negative thinking, this works very well. Have them challenge their own thinking. My son the other day said, everyone has better Pokemon cards than me. Really? Everyone? You know that for sure? You've talked to every single person on this earth and you know that they have better Pokemon cards than you? I was like, look at your sister. She's got 2 cards. You have like 50. We just proved it right there. Challenge, challenge, challenge. One thing to note is that those who are struggling with OCD might have to take a separate route. This route is exposure and response prevention. We challenge thoughts when it's related to anxiety. We don't challenge thoughts when it's related to obsessional thinking, because if we do, it ends up using logic. And we know that OCD doesn't mesh well with logic. It tends to use some reassurance. So what's similar to catastrophizing are intrusive thoughts. This tends to be a bigger trigger that leads someone down this path. I created a whole separate video on that. It's called Do Not Click on the Ad. Go see it right now. You're gonna need it to help you get one step ahead of this thing. Judge Judy, judge, send me to jail based off of my thoughts.